mean, tell us how the whole Hani Rambod thing came around.
Yeah, so after last year's Olympia, I knew I wanted to make a change. And I went backstage at finals, and he was back there. We hit it off. We just started talking, and I said, I'm interested in working with you if you'd be interested in working with me. And we got to talking after a few weeks, and yeah, and we both, he believed in me, and I've always admired him. Working with Phil Heath, Jay Cutler, those were two of my idols. Coming into the sport, so. Just him being the top-notch coach and him believing in me, it just worked out, man. And we have a really strong bond now. After working for a year, it's almost like, I don't know, I call him and sometimes we don't even talk about bodybuilding. We just joke around. So,
I mean, do you know the thing that shocked me is how I think even after like just a few short weeks after you announced that you were working together, I mean, because you post a lot on social media, you're very good with the social media accounts. Like we all saw just a huge explosion in your physique. What exactly changed so dramatically to create such a dramatic change in your physique so quickly?
Well, actually, there was a short time period, like a couple weeks of, and that's what you're talking about, right? How it just kind of morphed real quick after a couple months. There was a short time period where I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just try an open show next year. And so I just said, I'm going to go back to the Olympia, I'm going to go back to the drawing board. I'm going to go back to the gym, and I'm just going to eat, sleep, train. And if I grow out of the 212, I grow out of the 212. And then once Hani and I talked, he's like, nah, man, like you weren't even at the top of the weight last year. Like you still have room to grow into the 212. So we're going to come back and be 212. Not to mention, like, you can get that title. We're going to go for that title. I said, all right, man, like I trust you and I believe it. And I truthfully, I did want to give it at least one more year with Hani. So yeah, no question, man. Definitely going to make 212 smooth sailing
So I remember the year when you weighed in and your weight actually dropped by the time you hit the stage.
Yeah,
that was a couple of years ago. Yeah, I remember.
No.
That was a couple of years ago.
No, that was last year. So I was so dieted down last year. I worked so hard. I ran my body into the ground that I actually weighed in the lightest I ever did last year. Mm-hmm. And then once I started feeding up, I actually dropped even more weight. And it was just like, man, my body was almost like a runaway train at that point. So it was just like, I knew even before going to prejudging, this is probably not going to work out well. And I just tried my best to stay confident and just, trust in the process. And it wasn't my year, man. But the thing is, everything happens for a reason. And again, had things worked out, maybe it wouldn't have led me to Hani and Evagen and all this. And I've learned, man, I'm telling you what, I have learned more this year. Even just the last few weeks, I've learned more in the last few weeks than I've ever learned in bodybuilding. And I am just so eager for these next few years to see where my body takes me. So this year is already going to night and day difference. My update pictures, it's like my weight is lower, but I'm so much bigger, harder, grainier, just separate. Like everything's just crazy different. But like still fitting in that 212 cap. So it's just a night and day different, man. And also I don't want to say it's any easier. Like this, it's definitely not been any easier, but it's been like smoother, coming down in the weight, and training has been ramping up, getting better. This is the most I've ever eaten, the least amount of cardio I've ever done.
Wow.
Not really taking much, and I'm just like, yeah, dude, it's like, it's been great, man.